Our next speaker, representing Mrs. Light's classroom, is Madeleine Rabi, and she is going to speak to us about in Peru. Madeleine?
My dad is from Peru, and we recently went there because my great-grandma passed away. It was tragic for all of us, especially my grandma. I never talked about my great-grandma anymore, but I remember her very well. She was very sweet. She also went nuts. It does sound mean, but it's true. She would yell at nobody for no reason because she suffered from Alzheimer's. I sometimes got scared when she started screaming. It was very strange. So, we visited the grave that she was at. We put flowers and cleaned the gravestone. The gravestone was of white marble and shiny. My great-grandpa was there with my sister and my dad, my mom, my grandma, my grandpa, my aunt, my uncle, and my two little cousins. When I looked at my grandma, I saw a sparkle in her eye. She looked like she was about to cry, but she never did. On the way back to my uncle's house in Peru, it was silent. The next day, we packed some clothes and headed to Atia, which is a small town out of the city. It took forever. But while we were riding up, some of us were feeling a little queasy. But by the time we got up there, the festival was about to start. The festival is about a saint named San Miguel that we celebrate. First we go to church, and then we start to walk in a parade with the saint in the front. After that, we eat a good heavy meal and go back to the parade. Then at night, we see fireworks that are built up into castles using bamboo, rope, and fireworks. The grown-ups stay up and dance the night away. The next morning, we ate breakfast in the kitchen with the whole family. Then we visited an uncle that owns lots of fish and beef. He also makes fresh honey, which he sells. Then we perused along some people that were selling stuff. After that, we went to a bull game. It was awesome. One of the bulls started bleeding, and my little sister started yelling, "Let the bull go!" Some other people joined too. Finally, they let the bull go. When the bull show was over, we headed toward the car, because we had to go back home. When we arrived back in Lima, we went to bed. The next day, we went to a water show park. In English, it's called Park of the Reserve. The park has lots of fountains that look like pyramids and rainbows. The tunnel fountain through which you could walk without getting wet. A fountain with laser beams on it like a laser show that goes with music. There's also a kids fountain, which is a large circle on the floor, and the water shoots up any time from the circle. It's fun, but you do get wet. It also shows some streets that were ruined and the difference it makes when it's fixed. I liked it a lot, especially that one fountain where you can walk through. My experience in Peru was incredible, and I'm hoping to visit again.
Madeleine, share with everyone, what kind of support did you get at home? Because I know that a lot of people wrote their speeches at home, which is what we were expected to do in many cases. What kind of family support did you get while you were planning and practicing your speech?
My mom and dad helped me a little bit with some of the, some about the disease my great-grandma had, and at the end about the ball game, what the show actually called.
So they were able to give you some ideas, questions that you had that they were able to answer, and then you could include them in your speech. So it's always a good idea if you're giving a speech, especially for school, if you check with your folks and see if they can give you some helpful hints, just like when you're writing anything, isn't it? All right, let's hear it from Madeleine. Our next speaker is from